bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everybody. We have for this webinar the theme Upanishadic perspectives of yoga. Yoga has become so popular. People are practicing yoga all over the world. However, what is known as yoga internationally, in the first place, is Patanjali's Rāja Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and especially in that Ashtanga Yoga, 99 out of 100 people in the world understand yoga to be asana and pranayama. Asana and pranayama, physical postures, forms of exercises, and breathing exercises have caught the attention of millions of people, and it has also, we understand, become a big industry. So it is necessary for anyone who wants to understand yoga properly to go several steps above where she or he is at present. If somebody is imagining that yoga is all about physical postures and some breathing exercises, then the first step she has to take is, it is in fact a holistic approach to handle one's whole personality, which necessarily includes the mind, not just body, not just the breath, but go further to control of the mind, where things like concentration, purifying the mind of various selfish tendencies, ultimately freeing the mind of the very sense of egoism, individuality, sense of separate self, etc. It is on these higher levels where Patanjali's yoga did come very near the erasure of ego, that Vedanta, which is no other than Upanishads, can shake hands with yoga. Swami Chinmayananda noted that people were not just excited, but overexcited, very attached to physical postures. And almost like a reaction, he made the witty statement, I don't believe in bending my body. I believe in straightening my mind. So in his ashram, Swami Chinmayananda never encouraged any yoga classes. If students or others did yoga in their own rooms, he had nothing against it. He was per se not against the yoga, but he did not want one. कुछ नहीं, अभी प्रोग्राम चल रहा है. He did not want his ashram to be a place where yoga classes were held. What is meant by, I believe in straightening the mind, not in bending the body? This is the step that one has to take to make even physical exercises, breathing exercises, etc. more meaningful. In fact, if one doesn't do it doesn't go to higher steps. What happens is one may enjoy better health, one may live longer, but for what? To pursue one's own ambition and to live in that sense of separation, endless competition, endless comparison. It is a serious matter. One should not imagine that if our health is good, body is fit, energetic, everything else will fall into place. No, the opposite can happen. As in the good old stories, Asuras, Rakshasas, etc. had lot of powers, lot of energy, and they went in a wrong direction. This can very much happen in the case of anybody looking at yoga in a narrow fashion. So as one rises, it is purification of one's whole being. Here I now enter the Upanishadic law. For this webinar, I shall consider just the Kathopanishad. And in another webinar, perhaps, we can even go into other Upanishads. In fact, there are some Upanishads which cover yoga in much greater detail. But I knowingly would adhere to Kathopanishad, for all said and done, though some 108 Upanishads have been regarded as authentic, 10 of them on which Adi Shankara wrote his commentary are accepted as very authentic. Therefore, let's see in the dialogue between Nachiketa and Lord Yama, we have a mention of the word yoga right in the early portion, first chapter, second only. You have the mantra number 12 to be precise, where Lord Yama, the teacher of Kathopanishad, the student being Nachiketa, uses the word yoga in conjunction with the word adhyatma. Let me read the mantra for you. Tam durdarsham gudam anupravishtam guhahitam gahvareshtam puranam adhyatma yogadi adhyatma yoga adhigamena devam matvadhino harsha shokau jahati. A dhira. I would prefer to translate the word dhira using two adjectives in the English language. Bold as well as wise. Some are bold or brave, but they don't have enough thinking. Some others have a lot of intelligence, but they lack courage. So, courage, especially moral courage, and certain insightful thinking makes one a dhira. It is said, dhiraha matva harsha shokavu jahati. The flavor of Upanishads is evident here in the Upanishadic wisdom, in the Vedanta. It's not just a matter of going from sorrow to happiness, go beyond both sorrow and happiness. Go beyond both pleasure and pain. Go beyond pairs of opposites. This is what is said, which is mind-blowing indeed. For ordinarily we want to give up unhappiness and embrace happiness. The Upanishads seem to say, whatever you embrace cannot remain in your embrace for long. Whereas, when you realize that your own true nature is happiness, mind playing its mischievous game creates the duality, happiness and sorrow, pleasure and pain, rise and fall, success and failure. 1,000 pairs of opposites are thrown before us, by this mind which has certain limited thinking. Rise above the mind. Now, I need not go into description of Patanjali's yoga, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Many of them are described. The Upanishadic flavor here is Adhyatma Yoga Adhigamena Hiraha Harsha Shokam Jahati. Adhigama means attaining. By attaining, not Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, those words are not used here. Adhyatma Yoga. This Adhyatma Yoga is in fact a powerful expression, and this is no other than turning inward, asking, who am I? Or I need not be too particular on how you go about it, but what is meant by Adhyatma Yoga is unite or reunite with your own true nature. We spend a lot of physical energy, verbal energy, emotional energy, intellectual energy, and many other energies. You know, we spend all kinds of energy, all kinds of our resources on making the body comfortable and this mind happy. We do not realize that this mind could be re-educated. It is like somebody has 20 desires. You can make him happy or make her happy by fulfilling, if not all the 20, 15 of her desires, 18 of his desires. So 20 desires are entertained, 18 are fulfilled. So 18 by 20, which is 9 by 10, 90% he is happy. 15 are fulfilled, 75% she is happy. So one is not to question the desires, not to question the validity or meaningfulness of the desires. Simply, what do you want? Okay, I'll get it for you. Whether it is making others happy or making ourselves happy, many a time we go about it in this way. But Adhyatma Yoga is without condemning desires. That's very important. If somebody wants to buy a very, very wonderful, new, expensive car, don't look down at him. If you have that desire, don't look down at it. This is not about condemning or justifying. But spend some time and you understand without condemnation. Hey, what is making me desire this car? Then when you look within, you will find that it is because sometime back, when you and a friend went somewhere, everybody was appreciating the friend's car, and people looked at your car and turned their faces away. It hurt you. Oh, in this society, unless I have a very special car, nobody cares for me. So does it not mean that you are so much concerned with how people look at you? You are so attached to your image. It's like you may not be hungry, but if people say, hey, at this place everybody eats at this time. Oh, okay, let me eat. So to satisfy somebody you eat, or do you really need? So I'm just giving an example, but you may find in your own way. This is called observation and certain self-awareness. So Jnāna Yoga is that movement. Rather than taking our thoughts, our emotions, the whole lot that happens within us for their face value, within we try to understand ourselves, and the wonder of wonders is in our trying to understand, in our taking a look at the way our mind moves, as someone like J. Krishnamurti would put it, watch the movement of thought, he said. Some other place he would say, watch the movement of the self. Self meaning the little ego, I, me. All of us carry some ideas. I am good, I am bad, I am this, I am that. I am the CEO of this company. Does he know that? I am the winner of many medals. Do these people know that? I am senior to that other fellow. These most don't seem to know it. Like this, you and I carry certain ideas of I am senior, I am superior, I am this, I am that, and equally negative things about us. So I have made many mistakes in life. I hope these people don't know about that aspect of me. We inwardly fear. So this is the movement of the self. The self is not just a simple I, but the self is a sense of I with all kinds of judgments loaded upon it, loaded upon them, loaded upon that sense of I. Jnāna Yoga Digamera Devam, you then realize the Deva. The word Deva here means the pure self, the Atma, the real reality of our existence. Otherwise, we are living in an imagined sense of I, which is the result of many, many influences, many conditioning. And it is said, to complete this couple of comments on this mantra, mantra number 12 of first chapter, second only, there are these words, this inner truth, this truth of who we are, is hard to see, durdarsham, gudam, it's the top secret, and vivahitam, it's never far from us, but alas, though it is within us and it is our own true nature, because we are not looking at it, we don't come to see it. And upon employing Adhyatma Yoga, turn inward. Turn inward again, lastly, should not be taken as to sort of shut yourself out of the world. Don't get excessively involved. Don't get unnecessarily involved. Or as we said before, don't run after something mindlessly. Then you have struck the balance. You are in the world, but not carried away by the world. Now I jump to the almost last portion of Kathopanishad. The Upanishads look at the word yoga in a truly comprehensive manner, and as the saying goes in English, the test of the pudding is in its eating. No matter how good the pudding looks, no matter how well it is served, maybe in a silver bowl, that pudding is not going to make you happy, not going to satisfy your palate, not going to fill your stomach with you remaining or you being left happy, unless you eat and see. The silver bowl, the wonderful looks, etc. are not important, but you take the pudding, it's delicious. And as you take more and more, you feel your hunger is satiated and you are left with a wonderful sense of, I'm happy I came here, I'm happy I got this. That's the meaning of the sentence, quotation or the saying. Test of the pudding is in its eating. In that thread, the Rishi, Lord Yama here, says, sthirām yogam-iti manyante, sthirām indriya-dhāranām. Once more, no wonder Swami Chinmayananda said, straightening the mind is important and not bending the body. Because suppose one is able to do really amazing physical exercises, postures, or breathing exercises, but then once the performance is over, maybe in her or his private moments, his or her senses go wild. There are urges, there are bouts of great disturbance within him, within her. Then what yogi is he? The Upanishad takes the whole idea of yoga. By the way, yoga is a broad term for spirituality. Yoga is a very broad term for spirituality. In Bhagavad Gita, dozens of yogas have been described. And the word yoga, or sometimes the word yukta, yukta is adjectival form of yoga. Yoga is the practice or a state of consciousness. Yukta is one who has reached there, one who has united oneself. And Gita describes yoga or yukta in dozens of ways really, covering a whole gamut of spiritual practice. So here we have, what do wise people call yoga? Yogam-iti manyante, sthirām indriya-dhāranām. On a 24-hour basis or on 24/7 basis, have we reduced our mindless behavior of senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. And the tongue especially, not only as palate, tasting good food, but also as a speaking organ. Suppose we are too fond of our own talking, we don't let others talk. Today I attended another Swamiji's talk in Delhi, rushed back to do this webinar. Over there he was joking that at a certain school, this Swamiji went and made a clear announcement. He spoke to 100 students, there were some 20 teachers behind. He said, please note, I am talking to the students, and at the end, only students can ask questions. Kindly make this or leave this as a students' program. All of you are sitting behind, wonderful. But for heaven's sake, don't ask questions. It is their chance. In spite of it, as soon as he concluded his 45-50 minutes talk and said any question, I believe a senior teacher said, I have a question. And this Swamiji said to him, sorry, I will not answer your question. I made it clear. It is only for the students. And that teacher got insulted, felt insulted. So the Swamiji was describing how I went later in the principal's chamber also there was an argument. But now, I have also gone through this at many places. They call us and say, please speak to the youngsters. And when we say any question, it is the mother, it is the father, it is the elders who ask questions and the youngsters get a little embarrassed. So, maybe all of us as we get older are not even aware sometimes how we want to go down the memory and just tell people, once in 78 I was in such and such place, once in 87, I was going from here to there. Sometimes without even checking whether others are interested. So, it's not just laddu or jalebi, rasgulla or something else, or it's not just various forms of sense pleasure which normally we think of, but even speaking. Do we speak unnecessarily? And do we fail to listen when somebody really has something to share? Do we give space to each other? That is indriya-dhāranām. Then you are a yogi. If you bend backwards or if you bend and twist and so many things, but you are so full of yourself, you are not sensitive to others, then you are a very poor yogi. Incidentally, I remember in the Gita, I am never tired of quoting that shloka, from 32nd shloka also, in 6th chapter. Sri Krishna says, that is a parama yogi. The greatest yogi is he or she who takes others' sorrow and happiness as one's own. Yes, the sarveshu, there's a shloka, sukha dukkha, both. In both sukha and dukkha, he is so aware. Somebody is suffering and feels for it. Or somebody is celebrating, is happy. He won. Let me congratulate you. So one extends oneself. Otherwise, mere scholarship makes us more egoistic. So, Gita, Upanishads use the word yoga and take it to a much higher level. So, yogam-iti manyante, sthirām indriya-dhāranām, apramattastada bhavati, yogi prabhava apyayam. This is the mantra, mantra number 11 in the 6th Valli, that is 2nd chapter, 3rd Valli of Kathopanishad. I would quickly add the word apramatta is of great importance here. When there is a great amount of being alert, not scholarship, not even, don't mix up in yoga with sleeping very less or eating very less, etc. If you sleep less, eat less, okay, that is nice in its own way, but that is not the crux of the matter. Sometimes as we go older, we may have less energy, we may need to rest more. That doesn't take you away from yoga. Those are normal things. But no matter how less energy or more energy you have, whenever you are doing something, you have a certain gentle awareness of the whole, or are you lost in your own thoughts? If you are gently aware of the whole, of the appropriate propriety, what is proper, what is improper, what is yukta, what is ayukta, then that presence of mind, that sense of, hey, this is not right, let me not say it. That is not right, let me ask him not to continue. Moral courage is required here. And all that to be done in line with our own nature, the way God has made us, swadharma, because we cannot standardize right behavior. In our own nature, going by our nature, but combining it with a understanding of what is right, if we go then the apramatta. Pramatta means prone to error. Apramatta means not prone to error. Avoiding error. You may be, some of you are getting, let's say, older. Who knows, because of some purva karma, some bad, act, as a result of some old previous action or whatever reason, you may not be able to even walk comfortably or easily from place to place, slowly, maybe with a walking stick. Good news is that doesn't prevent you from being a yogi. There is another person who is so, vigorous, so agile, but if that other person is prone to misjudgment, taking things for granted, looking at people with a lot of prejudice and so on, that is pramada. You are slow, going very slowly with a walking stick, having some backache maybe, but you are fully aware. You are fully noticing, and no irresponsible word comes from you, no irresponsible or insensitive gesture comes from you, then you are a yogi. Apramattastada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayo. The last part says this is not so easy. Generally, yoga has its rise and fall. All of us at times are okay, but other times we make blunders. Not just mistakes, but blunders. To conclude my simple presentation of certain perspectives of Upanishads with regard to yoga, I draw from almost the last mantras of Kathopanishad, where there is a mention, interestingly, of the nadis. Mind you, nadi is neither blood vessel carrying blood, nor nerves carrying the signals from the brain. Nadi is yoga's contribution to understanding human personality. They are invisible pathways in the body through which subtle pranic energy flows. And Upanishads normally are not into these things, but here and there they do touch upon the nadis. The nadis are more talked of, this Kundalini Shastra and so on. They talk about a central nadi, Sushumna, then two major nadis, Ida and Pingala, then 72, 7200, 72,000 and whatnot. So many nadis. This is a third system, neither blood circulation nor nervous system. The third system. You have a seed of all this in the Upanishads. When Kathopanishad says in the 16th mantra of the last valli, Shatam cha ekacha hridayasya nadyaha. Shatam cha ekacha. 101 nadis are emerging pathways. Nothing physical there. They are subtle, invisible pathways. Tasam murdhanam abhinisrataika. Out of those 101, there is one which goes straight up and reaches the head. Murdhanam abhinisrata. Kaya urdhamayan amritatvameti. When the inner energy rises through the sushumna, reaches the head and moves out from there, that is an external sign of an inner awakening of consciousness. The real stuff is an inner awakening of understanding. You look at yourself totally differently from how you ever saw yourself, which is accompanied necessarily by looking at others differently. Earlier you were perhaps looking down at a poor man and envying a rich man. You were perhaps envying a pretty woman or a handsome man and not adding much value to somebody who is sick and moving with some disabilities and so on. In 1,000 ways, earlier we would have seen externalities. We would value a scholar or a writer or a speaker, and somebody without a talent is looked at as what a nuisance this fellow is. I don't want such people to come to my place, etc. How sad. So what I mean by a totally new way of looking at people is, while you know that this person has this talent and this person has no talent, in your heart you neither envy the first one nor look at the second one with contempt. There is a certain accommodative spirit. As appropriate, you would, if you have to, involve each person. The love in your heart doesn't depend upon looks or wealth or talent or color of the skin or 100 things. That is what happens. That is called urdhvam ayan amritatvameti. Vishwam anya utkramane bhavanti. Anyaha nadyaha. There are so many other pathways. And if our energy moves in those pathways towards the end of our life, be sure that the soul that we are is going to end up in some loka, and it has to come back on this earth, for this is the school where we come back again and again to learn and pass the inner exams. And until we learn whole of life, we need to come back to school again and again. These are the views of the Upanishads. Let me pause here, and I will be happy to try to answer some questions or listen to some comments by any of you. Let me see.
Ramesh Dashwan.
Ramesh Dashwani. Yeah. Yes, Ramesh ji. Do you have a mic which works? Probably you are able to hear me, but I am perhaps not able to hear you.
He says I cannot hear clear. On the question.
You cannot hear clearly.
Yeah. Maybe there's a problem on his side.
Can you write your question in text? Go to questions and key in the question. I am able to hear you now. Yeah, but I am not able to hear you, you see, Rameshji. So, you speak, maybe the microphone at your end has some problem. Your speakers are all right, therefore you are hearing me. If your mic is all right, I will be able to hear. Maybe you have to put the... I was not able to hear clearly, you have written. I am able to hear you now. But what you speak is not audible to me. So please write your question also. Like you said, you are able to hear. Meanwhile, let me see whether anyone else has raised the question. Raise the hand. People are controlling their tongue, it appears. Okay, Gopala Krishna. Okay, I unmuted Gopala Krishna. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Usually, yoga and meditation are understood as two separate entities. Yoga and meditation are generally understood as two separate entities. But the way you describe Adhyatmika yoga looks like meditation.
Right.
Can you comment on
Right. Correct. So, generally yoga and meditation are separated. Because of that only what we talked. People take yoga to be physical and breathing exercises. You know, I'm doing yoga. What do you generally understand? Okay, various asanas, pranayama. And I'm doing meditation. Then you imagine somebody sitting down and some form of handling thoughts. So, my comment is the physical exercises, breathing exercises, concentration, etc. and meditation are part of one whole. And at the right time, one has to rise from body and breath to control of mind, then watching of thoughts, then noticing the movement of the self. So it is one journey, and they are highly interrelated. Meditation is primarily for the mind, but it is not an island by itself. Asana pranayama can lead to meditation, and asana pranayama, primarily being in the context of body and breath, are capable of lifting you to a meditative state. So they support each other. Who else had raised the hand?
Ranjan Desai.
Right. Yes, hello Ranjan, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Namaskar Swamiji, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. So I was listening, it was very nice to hear you again. So my question was about the yoga, pranayama exercises and all. They are also very important in, I mean, it's my belief that it's, I mean, if we, I mean, actually I think you already said that too, that it's one whole journey, one whole thing, right? I mean, it's also needed because if you sit in meditation and then your body starts paining, or you become old and you cannot you cannot sit still for a long time, so you cannot reach that state of the understanding or meditation. It will cause different problems. So I think both are important. So I don't know. Why Chinmayananda said that, Swami Chinmayananda said that, I do not believe in yoga, but state of mind. Both are important.
He said it. No, yeah, that's right. Both are important. He also knew it, but he said it to offset the excessive importance people were giving. And also he used to say openly that there are a lot of places teaching yoga. There are very few places which are giving us knowledge of the scriptures. So he didn't literally mean to put down yoga, but he chose. It's like, you know, if you choose to be a teacher of Hindustani music, somebody may say, start folk music also, start this also. In your institution, have some cinema songs also. You say, with due respect to all of them, my school is for Hindustani classical music, if that is your love. So, Chinmayananda was known for witty statements, and sometimes he would deliberately make a somewhat controversial statement. It was partly for humor and partly to, you know, attract people. You know. So, don't take him too literally. He respected yoga. For example, if he were to meet some big A.S. Iyengar or somebody, he would definitely, you know, regard and respect the yoga master with great warmth. But his chosen area was to educate people in the total. So the Jnāna Yoga was his choice. But I want to add one. In there also I said, suppose for some reason you have already fallen sick and you have back pain or something, which is making meditation difficult. Yeah, it is a little bit of a handicap, but one need not be unduly upset about it, because either through jnana or through bhakti, one can get free in spite of those limitations.
Right.
So one should not be, not that one should invite trouble.
Yeah.
Therefore, I would say I myself do some yoga whenever possible. We must try our best to keep physical health, but in spite of it, if something goes wrong, there is no need to be, you know, we need not think that, okay, now the door is closed for my mukti. No, no, no. Even a cancer patient or an AIDS patient, suppose he gets the insight, he can be free and he can be a jivan mukta. This is the siddhanta. So one should not go to either extreme. Because I said this, nobody should say, okay, then eat what you want and don't do exercise. That's one extreme. And some other saying, unless you are doing yoga daily, the higher levels are not possible. That's not right. Each can have an independent glory also. But provided you have that sukshma, subtle mind. Okay, let's take more questions we will take. Do we see any name or any?
Swamiji, please open the question. There are 2 questions there.
So, okay, yes. Yeah, here is a question. Let me read the question. I want to know whether one can achieve both worldly and spiritual perfection in this lifetime. See, worldly perfection, it's all relative. One can certainly achieve certain heights of worldly perfection or worldly success and achieve spiritual success too. So King Janaka was given as example, right? He was king of the whole country, managing it quite well, but he had great height in spirituality too. So we should be true to ourselves. If we have certain abilities and skills and circumstances are favorable, the science of Vedanta doesn't say run away from wealth. You don't have to run away from wealth. You don't have to run away from spouse or children. You can have the glory of it, and spirituality is also possible. Now comes the yoga as per Patanjali and yoga as said by Lord Krishna are one and the same. Actually, Lord Krishna has talked about yogas. And Patanjali's yoga is covered. So I can answer briefly. Lord Krishna talks of yoga in a kind of a superset, and Patanjali's yoga is a subset of what Krishna covers. Therefore, both complimenting and criticizing, Osho, Rajneesh, has said about Bhagavad Gita that Bhagavad Gita is a potpourri, is a mixture of many things. And when I heard Osho's talks on Ashtavakra Gita, he comes down on Bhagavad Gita. He says, Bhagavad Gita seems to say this is also fine, that is also fine, that is also fine, this is also fine. It's lots of things and no stand taken, no single position taken, he says about Bhagavad Gita. And praises Ashtavakra Gita, that Ashtavakra Gita doesn't mince words. It is straight, one single arrow to Jnāna Yoga, the highest truth, and so on. And I agree with Osho. But it's not a negative comment on Gita. Gita is a great synthesis, and for us it's like a mall, huge mall, and we go and pick up. So to sum up the answer, they are not saying Patanjali's yoga is a subset of Sri Krishna's yogas. So one question is over. I think both the questions are over. Now one last time I will see whether some hand has gone up. No. Yeah. Wonderful.
Swamiji,
And
excuse me, Swamiji,
what is
Chris Chilikuri has raised the hand.
okay. Okay, with that I am going to conclude, for I too need to leave. Yes, Chris.
No issue, Swamiji, if you have to leave. Quick question.
Yeah.
Experience of yogasanas is quite conducive to calming the mind. It's quite clear through experience. I wonder, for some reason, our tradition does not emphasize intense aerobic exercise. I personally find intense aerobic exercise clears the mind and helps you put aside, not overcome, but put aside negative thoughts.
Right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for making this comment. In fact, in 100 ways, in both spiritual and mundane spheres, the East has to learn from the West. There are so many ways in which the Easterners have to learn from the West, and I'm sure there are 100 ways where Westerners have to learn from the East. So aerobics is a very good example that you have given. So I fully take it. So in fact, more and more of us can integrate intense aerobics with our other yoga or some other practices. Definitely, I agree with you.
Very good.
In fact, Westerners have taken to yoga so enthusiastically because I think they were earlier thinking of exercise as always being vigorous. Vigorous plus the slow moving, I think both play their own roles. Maybe we should invite somebody who knows both these very well to give a webinar. I don't know much aerobics, but so can't say much. But in principle, I very much accept and highly appreciate your comment.
Thank you so much.
All right. We meet again another time. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi